Who are they playing?
Binder.
Or who's?
Liger tag.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna just mute my actual TeamSpeak.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna just mute.
Microphone muted. Sound muted.
Good evening, everybody. Akkuma here with a semi-scrim. I don't know if it's truly a scrim. 0-1 just said that and they're just kind of fooling around playing. But we got ourselves Joe Binder versus Liger Tag. I'm just checking whether or not the teams are cool with me showing off the builds. So just give me a second to check with them. Don't want to. All right, I'm gonna quickly go through the team builds that we got. So jumping over to Fugazi first. Fugazi is running with Runes of the Soldier, typical for Guardians. And now we got ourselves Superior Energy Staff along with Minor Accuracy on a Mace, along with another Superior Energy and Cleric's Amulet. You don't see too many Guardians run with Minor Accuracy, but nonetheless, it'll help her get the crits, which should help her get more vigor. She is running 0-0-20-30-20. And she's going with that extra 250 healing power, which is kind of nice. That was just recently added in. Jumping over to 0-1. 0-1 is running a spirit build. He is running with Runes of the Forge. And on top of that, he is going with a short bow with superior geomancy, a sword with geomancy, and minor corruption on his dagger. Then he is running a 10-0-30-30. For his 10-pointer, he's running with Keen Edge and Empathic Bond, Hide in Plain Sight, and Shared Anguish. And then he is running with Spirits Unbound, Nature's Vengeance, and Vigorous Spirits. So basically his spirits will follow him. It'll just get more activations and it'll trigger when they die, and his spirits will stay up much easier. Jumping over to the Infanta. The Infanta is running with Runes of the Scholar, so he's going to be doing high burst initially until his health starts dropping, if his health starts dropping. And he is running with a dagger pistol and a short bow for that movement. Of course, the Berserker's Amulet for that deeps. And then he is running 0-30-30-10. So in his critical strikes, hitting killer guaranteed crit, along with Signet use, gain 2 initiative per Signet. He is only running though with Infiltrator Signet. And then he has Signet of Power as well to gain additional might off that. And then Shadow Arts, he is getting regeneration while in stealth, gain initiative in stealth, and gain 2 initiative when he uses skills that give him stealth. And then he is running with long reach on his steel, which gives him a 1500 range. That's great for catching up with people. Jumping over to Yip. We got Runes of the Air, so he'll be doing quite a bit of critical damage and he is running with superior energy on a greatsword and superior force on his sword, along with superior energy on his pistol. And along with that, he is running a 2020 030. So he's picking up basically all the skills for a shatter build. And the difference is he's picking up the pistol for the extra DPS from the duelist. He's also picking up Masterful Reflection, which is interesting. You don't see too many people choose that. And jumping over to Junkyards. Junkyards is running with Runes of the Nightmare, along with Scepter with Geomancy, a Dagger with Corruption, and a Staff with Geomancy. And then he has a 30-30-10 build, running with Doomfire, Chill of Death, and Spiteful Spirit. And then on the other end, he has Spectral Attunement, Terror, and Weakening Shroud. Then he got Greater Marks. So a pretty standard build all around. He has the Epidemic, Spectral Wall, and Spectral Wall. Kind of missed that on everyone else. So for guys, he got Triple Shout setup. And we have probably Stone, Sun, and and Storm. And then Infanta was running with Shadow Refuge, Infiltrator Signet, and Shadow Step. And Yip was running with Portal, Illusion of Life, and Mirror Images. And jumping over to Jusu, or Su, not sure how it's supposed to be pronounced. He is running with all Divinity, and he is running with the Staff of Superior Agony. Now, whether or not he switches it out to a different weapon will be seen in the actual match. And he is running a 0-20-0-20-30 build. And he's picking up Aeromancer's Alacrity, and Bolt to the Heart. So he's going to be doing more air DPS than some of the 10-0-30-30 builds. And he's also picking up Stop, Drop, and Roll, and Cleansing Wave. So he might actually be running bunker builds for this. He picked up Arcane Wave, Lightning Flash, and Mistform. Going over to Serenite Life, he is running what looks to be also a Spirit build. He's running with Dwayna, and he has an Axe with Superior Force, Geomancy on his Torch, a Sword with Force, and Geomancy on his Dagger. And switching over here, he's running 0-0-30-30-10, and so he's picking up the Speed Training instead of the 10 point of Keen Edges. So he's running with Empathic Bond, Oakheart Salve, and Vigorous Renewal. On Nature's Magic, he's running with Spirits Unbound, Nature's Vengeance, and Vigorous Spirits. So this line's completely the same as 0-1's, and this line is two of the traits are completely different. And he's also picking up Signet of the Wild instead of the extra Spirit. Jumping over to Key Silverlight, we got Runes of the Soldier, along with Superior Energy on his Staff and Superior Energy on his Hammer. And of course, Cleric's Amulet. And he is running a 0-5-5-30-30. You see a lot of people doing this instead because of Justice is Blind is a pretty nice trait. But you do lose out on the Purity, which I'm a fan of. And then we have probably the same skills basically every Guardian runs. Yep. Dominal Courage, Absolute Resolution, and he chose Vengeful instead, which he'll be able to combo for that Retaliation very easily thanks to his Hammer. And jumping over to Vec, Vec is running Runes of the Forge with a Pistol and Shield, Superior Doom, and Smoldering. So this looks very Teldo-esque. And he is running 20-0-10-30-10. And so he has larger explosion radius on his bombs, 100% chance for burning on crits. Then he has protection when he's hit with a critical hit. then he has automated response, invigorating speed, protection injection, and speedy kits. And so he'll actually move around pretty fast in this mapping, essentially have perma vigor. And last but not least, we got Sulfur. Sulfur is running with Runes of the Ogre, and he is running with staff as well. I'm not sure if that's also intended or if he'll switch out. And his setup is 0-20, 0-20, 30. And he is running Air Training, Bolt to the Heart, Aquamancer's Alacrity, and Cleansing Wave, along with Evasive Arcana, Renewing Stamina, and Elemental Attunement. This line is basically the same for every single Elementalist. It's interesting to see that there are slight variations between the two Elementalists on Binder's team, but nonetheless, they both have their pros and cons. I'm not an Elementalist player, but it's interesting to see that they both didn't come to a common agreement on which setup was best. Just letting the teams know that I'm ready to go now. And if you have not watched my stream before, thank you for joining me, everyone.
Last chance to nail down your strategy.
So if you've not played in Temple of the Silent Storm, there are going to be buffs appearing here and here, which will gain you extra points for a kill. A buff over here for extra points for each capture point you have, and one underneath at 8 minutes and 30 seconds, which will flip every point to your team. Out the gate, we have Binder, who is all coming down stealth up. They're going to be ganking Fugazi pretty hard here right now. Jumping over to Fugazi. Fugazi is eating a lot of damage. She did survive through that burst, however, dropping that Save Yourselves. She's still staying up pretty well. She doesn't seem to be in too much trouble right now. And we got Sulfur, who is actually down right now. Sulfur is getting rezzed up right now from Vec. He looks like he will get up first before Lagertech will stomp him out. So there we go. We're back in it. And Sulfur is back down once again. They just keep focusing on him. He's now misforming away. And Sulfur, I don't know if they'll actually go for another res attempt on him. The Infanta now is also down. It looks like Yippiz is down as well. So we got to rally off of that stomp on Sulfur finally. And so the advantage is now going back over to Lagertag. Yip, though, it looks like he needs a res. Fugazi now resing him up. Nice job from the Infanta with that Shadow Refuge. Yip is getting Vec is getting dangerously low again, and Jusu is now down, as is Keys, Vec. So everyone in Binder is currently down, aside from Sulfur and Serenite Life. Serenite Life is just kind of holding the home point, and it looks like Sulfur is going to be taking the far point away from Lagertag. Lagertag has an early lead right now, as they did win that team fight. For a little while there, it looked like Binder was going to get it back. They are now sending 2 people mid Binder. Infanta is right on top of Keys, and Keys is going to opt for going through instead of actually fighting there. And jumping over to the temple, we have a 1-versus-1 going on between Sulfur and 0-1. Jumping over to 0-1's point of view. 0-1's thrown down. Currently, one of those spirits is now throwing them all down, which is going to make life for everyone here hella hard. Jesu is currently getting focused on pretty hard. The Infanta's on top of him. He doesn't have his heal available, and he's going to be going down here right now. Keys going straight to that res. Nice job on Keys' part. We got 0-1 getting dangerously low, and he is now down on his back. Keys now going for that stomp out. It looks like Binder is going to get that stomp, and now this is going to probably turn into Binder's favor right now. Yip dropping that portal. And Yip and Junkyards are both really low. Junkyard's trying to get out of there. Yip now down on his back. Unfortunately, he dropped that portal, but it didn't really go to any use. And right now, Binder is just pushing out and taking that. Down into the gate, we got Fugazi, who is pretty low right now, getting her heal back up. Sarah Night Life right on top of her. She's eating a lot of conditions. However, Fugazi is getting support from 0-1, but Fugazi is now down on her back. Fugazi is getting rezzed up though, and Sarah Night Life is now in a 3 versus 1 situation. Sarah Night Life is, however, getting reinforcements from his team, and Fugazi has now been burst down. I can't tell whether Fugazi has now been stopped out. 0-1 and Junkyards are now dangerously low, and they're both going to be stomped out. Binder now wiping up Lagger Tag over there. And it looks like we got 2 members of the Lagger Tag who are deciding what to do. They're just fighting off the point right now outside. They're trying to 1 versus 2 Jesu. Jesu now dropping down and trying to opt out of that fight and just heal up. And Key's now coming in, essentially infecting Lagger Tag here. However, he is now in a 3 versus 1 situation, and he's going to be eating all that DPS from the Infanta. He still has 2 of his shouts up that he can use.
Blue team takes a capture point.
Unfortunately, he's just been interrupted, and he's super low. He has no heal available. He's deciding to go with his renewed focus, and he is getting some support now over here from Selfer. And this is a 2 versus 1 right now, though. And the Infanta is dangerously low himself. He did just use his heal, so he has another 25 seconds before he can use that. Infanta needs to get out of there, as they are focus firing him. Fugazi now getting targeted instead, jumping over to where Yip is. Yip is dead right outside of this door, and we're seeing Junkyards jump back over and jump back through. He accidentally went through instead. So it's actually a 4 versus 2 right now. Binder is actually triple capped at this stage, and unfortunately for Lagger Tag, they're not able to win this 2 versus 4. They really need to focus fire here better. It looks like the Infanta now is dangerously low again, and Jesu's actually trying to stomp him out. Jumping over to 0-1's point of view, over on the far point, he's actually... It looks like it's a pretty even fight between him and Sarah Night Life. Sarah Night Life, though, has just used his heal, and 0-1 doesn't have his heal up for another 13 seconds. I don't believe he's actually going to win, and down he goes. Jumping back over to the Temple fight, we finally see Lagger Tag has neutralized this point. Selfer is now down, but he's getting currently rezzed up. Unfortunately for Fugazi, just a second too late. But Selfer is back on his back, and he should get this stomp off. Down he goes. It's now... actually, both members of Binder are down on their backs, and so Lagger Tag will be winning this and getting this home point back. However, they're now down 150 points, so Binder has a pretty big lead here already. Jumping down into the gate, we got Infanta, who's fighting Vec. Actually, Infanta is now heading down to Tranquility, and if we jump down into here, we got Junkyards versus Sarah Night Life, and Infanta now heading down here. Jumping over to Junkyards. Junkyard's going into his death shroud already, trying to really pressure Sarah Night Life. However, Sarah Night Life is now receiving some support from Vec. Vec just dropping that glue bomb. And Sarah Night Life is dangerously low. He's just trying to stay out of there till he can heal up. But Sarah Night Life is still really low. Vec dropping that supply crate, and Junkyards is about to go down here instead. A little bit too late there from Junkyards with his Plague Form. However, Sarah Night Life is still down on his back, and we got Junkyards who's down. Sarah Night Life getting up first, and Selfer is being stomped, however, off near the altar. Jumping back down to the gate. We still have this fight raging on between both teams. We got a 3 versus 3 between Lagger and Binder. Jumping over to Vec's point of view. Vec is dangerously low now. Got his healing turret, though, that he can drop. He's backing out right now. No one is following him, as everyone's so focused on getting that Tranquility. Right now, though, Lagger Tag has managed to capitalize on this team fight down here by backcapping every single point for Lagger Tag. Lagger Tag is going to get themselves back into this game very quickly thanks to that. Unfortunately, now Junkyards is down, and Infanta is dangerously low. Fugazi now trying to res him up. Nice timing for that fear. Infanta now is down with that double res. Junkyards did drop that wall. However, Fugazi is now down as well, and the Infanta is down. So this team fight has been lost.
Did you see that?
And Fugazi is back up, as is Junkyards. They've been illusion of life as Yip has come down here to help. Unfortunately, they'll be dropping here very shortly with that illusion of life if they don't get a stomp. There you go. Junkyards and Fugazi back down in the downstate, and they'll both be stomped out here. Yip is still down here. Unfortunately for him, he can't keep it contested for much longer, and it's going to all flip every point. We got Alter with 0-1, and now he's going to neutralize and cap that. So even though these points have been flipped, the Lagger tag was essentially prepared for this. Even though they did lose it, they were able to keep the pressure on for long enough that they could respawn and get to these points. So jumping over to the temple, we got the Infanta versus Fugazi, or with Fugazi and Jesu and Sulfur. So we got a double Elementalist set up right now. Jumping over to Jesu's view. He's not really feeling too much pressure right now. He's actually, now that he's getting feared around, he's about to drop. It looks like he might actually be stomped out. Junkyards is still applying pressure. It looks like Lagger Tag has pushed out both Sulfur and Jesu, who's now been stomped. However, they left the far point open for them, and Binder is now going back there to cap it. They left it open for quite a while. They're still not actually going back in there. Oddly enough, jumping over to the gate, we have a 2 vs 2 going on right now. 0-1, the Infanta and Sulfur versus Keys. So, jumping over to Keys' view, it looks like they're actually targeting him. However, the Infanta is now down on his back and looks like he's about to be stomped out. However, so now we're back down to a 1 vs 3. And at the same time, we got over at the altar a 2 vs 1 against Serenite Life. Serenite Life is not looking too bad right now. He still has his Storm Spirit to use, which won't really help him too much other than the mobility. He is getting that Nature Spirit down, and Yip and Junkyards are pretty low, as Serenite Life did receive some part. Junkyards and 0-1 now down on the back, and with that stomp, Binder takes this.
Like that, blue team takes a capture point.
That early engagement for between Binder and Lagger Tag really shaped the game, and then after Lagger Tag devoted all those resources to getting that temple back, it really turned into Binder's game as they got a massive lead there. However, that mid-game kind of play of leaving Yip to actually cap everything while they fought down here for Tranquility was a fantastic play. However, they wound up losing that fight anyways. And so that early lead that Binder had was a little bit too insurmountable, as if they had kept it pretty even, Lagger Tag may have actually won that game at that stage. Losing all their points was really what did them in. Just waiting on them to decide if they're going to play on this map or not. They're going to do a best of 3 on this map. Binder additionally seem to do a lot of their team reses fairly well. They coordinated on them, I'd say, better than Lagger Tag. There were a couple of instances Lagger Tag did very well, such as down in Tranquility, where Infanta and Fugazi got up Junkyards. However, Infanta then just turned around and dropped after he was eating all that damage. And Jesu did switch over to a Scepter Dagger, which was kind of expected, and we currently still have Salfer, who is running that staff. So it should just be a minute here before they actually ready up. The other thing that was hurting Lagertag was how many resources they were devoting to fights that were in their favor. So over back in the temple, they had a 4 versus 2 going on, and the biggest problem there was that for the amount of people they had there, Binder was able to stay up for what seemed like an eternity. So Binder was able to get that double cap and just keep this point theirs and keep it neutralized such that Lagertag had no points coming in. My in-game name is AKKUMA.2501. Sorry, I don't have a second monitor up right now, so I literally tab out. Still waiting on the two teams to ready up. One thing that's kind of important is once you win that gate, you can get ferocity from both sides much easier. And when you get those ferocities, all those stomps will net you extra points, and it'll really help snowball your team to victory if you already are winning. Now, if it's a pretty even match, those ferocities will just give you that extra push you need.
Last chance to nail down your strategy.
So let's watch what these two teams do out of the door. Lagertag is your red, and Binder is your blue. Sorry that I don't have any fancy schmancy graphics. So out the gate, we got both Rangers heading over to their home points, and we're going to see another stealth play from Binder, which worked out fairly well the first time. Fugazi, though, did survive the initial burst, but this time Fugazi is actually doing even better, I'd say. All those conditions on Binder just completely chewed through him. That was a fantastic job from Junkyard. That epidemic spread. We currently have the Infanta and Junkyards who are dangerously low. Infanta trying to back out of there. Nice job really throwing them for a loop. They can actually focus him down. Jumping over to Keys now. Keys is pretty low as well. He just used his Save Yourselves. Unfortunately, he didn't use it during that epidemic spam. It would have been pretty useful there. He does have his block to use. He is eating all that condition damage. He's still managing to stay up. We got Fugazi down right now, though. Fugazi is back up in action, and this is still pretty even. However, blue Binder is the only one on this point, so they might actually manage to cap it. And Fugazi finally got back on. We got Keys out of this fight, and we got Salfer, who is about to drop over there. A nice job from Infanta to back cap that point. This has turned a complete opposite of last game, where Lagertag has managed to group up together well and win that team fight. Up over near Ferocity, we got Yip and the Infanta pushing in right now on Jesu. They actually had a DC apparently binder, so it looks like they're asking for a redo. Okay, they're gonna just let this run out. So there they go. Now that ANET added in the ability to actually just forcibly end it,
Ferocity has appeared.
it's pretty nice. That early game epidemic from Junkyards really ate through Binder. As you can see, that epidemic he just used to wipe them all out like that. And now Binder is going to really have to be on top of their game to prevent that from happening again, as Keys does have save yourselves, and they should actually be kind of wary of that a second time. Additionally, since they have two Ellies with Cleansing Wave, and they both have that 0-20, 0-20, 30 build, so they're both picking up heal nearby allies, and you get Cleansing Wave to remove a condition. So that double condition removal, along with the condition removal of Keys, is going to be really crucial for them to survive that epidemic, along with actually using Save Yourselves at the right moment. If he uses it too early, or if he uses it too late, basically Binder has lost that fight. If he uses it at the right time, Binder is probably going to win that fight. As you saw, at a certain point after the epidemic was dropped, both the Infanta and Junkyards were getting DPS down. However, Binder, being so good at rezzing, was able to bounce back from it for a little while. However, dropping all those people so quickly just wasn't enough for them to bounce back from. We should be getting started again any minute here, now that all 5 players are back in for Binder.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
So Binder currently getting all those stacks up for that swiftness. We should probably be seeing the same play, I'm imagining, of the stealth play. Nicely timed from Binder. Instead, they're actually going to avoid that mid-fight altogether, head over to the far, and this is going to end probably pretty poorly for 0-1, as there are 4 people just rolling into there. It looks like Lagertag is actually going to move into this point and try and defend their home point. And so 0-1 is still up. He dropped all his spirits, and those spirits are fantastic for keeping people up. Jesu is currently being chased down. He's about to drop a very few seconds for him to stay up. And there he goes. Whether or not they'll actually be able to get him back up. He's now resing him up. Great job there. He now has his other renewal to keep him up even longer. Vec now, he himself is getting pretty low. We got Yip down as well. And Yip really needs a res over here. Fugazi now battling it out in mid while that fight is going on. Yip has no one trying to res him up. Junkyard's now dropping as well. And Binder is now cleaning up this fight. Vec now back up from that rally. Or sorry, from that stomp. And 0-1, the first one who was here, is the last one to actually drop. Pretty impressive. So a nice job from Binder going with an alternate strategy that really threw them for a loop. They were expecting that 4 versus 4 in mid. Fugazi now down on her back, and Binder, though, has the early points lead. Junkyard's now coming in trying to res up Fugazi. I'm not sure if she will get it. Yep, right back up she goes. So this 2 versus 2, I believe, is going to go in favor of Lager Tag. We got both Vec and Jesu. Vec is pretty low right now, has that poison on. He's going to need to get out of there. It looks like Lager Tag didn't notice her. Infanta now on top of Vec, finishing her off, and Jesu is now down. So even though they lost that home point fight, Lager Tag managed to get the far point and was able to maintain mid. So they're still up. Ferocity is still up for anyone to grab, and Lager Tag really should take advantage of this right now. Jumping over to the Temple, we got a 2 versus 1 going on between Keys and the Infanta. We got Junkyard Yip coming in and Vec. So we got ourselves a 4 versus 2. So we really should see Vec drop even faster. It looks like we're going to see more reinforcements from Binder. Vec now down on his back. Keys is pretty low. Yip is also really low. He doesn't have his heal up. He should back out of here, as if anyone jumps on him, such as Vec, he might be going down in a heartbeat. And Keys is almost down. He does have one more shout to use. Lager Tag really needs to focus a little bit better. Keys now down, but so is Junkyards. If 0-1 can manage it, okay. Selfer now getting the res on Keys, and Infanta now res up as well. Nice job from both teams keeping it up. We got Infanta, Yip, and Yip is probably the lowest right now. He does have his heal coming back up very shortly. We got Vec, who's about to drop as well. Jumping over to Vec's view. And there we go. Vec is now down on his back. Infanta trying to... fortunately, Junkyards was just stomped out. Vec rallying off that, and Yip is now down on his back. Once again, we're seeing Lager Tag unfortunately lose these big team fights. However, they've been keeping the score very close. Infanta, unfortunately, now back down as well, and Junkyards should actually go far if he can with his Spectral Walk. If he can get far before they can actually respond. Unfortunately, they already did respond. Sarah Night Life is still just watching in the home point. Jumping back down to, we're seeing Yip is now getting stomped out. However, he is now getting some support from 0-1, and Fugazi rezzing up Yip. A nice job there from Fugazi to rotate over. Jumping back over to Yip's point of view, we're seeing that gate is now being contested. No one from Lager Tag is actually going to be able to stop this neutralization, and Binder is going to be getting these points first. They're going to be the only ones getting points for a little while here. We see that Spirit of Nature out for 0-1, which will really help them in case they need that res. Junkyards is trying to win this far point fight at the same time. He does. Unfortunately, his consume conditions went off a second too late after all those conditions on him dropped, it appears. Actually, he used his transfer conditions from his staff. He's doing a pretty nice job here against Sarah Night Life. Sarah Night Life does have his heal coming back up, but Junkyards is now down. He's going to be losing that and getting stomped out. We do have Lager Tag gaining control once again. Thankfully, Yip was able to... Junkyard was able to neutralize Alter for a little while, keeping Lager Tag pretty competitively in this fight. Yip is dangerously low, needs to back out. Vec now getting stomped out, and Yip is getting rest. We got another 20 seconds or so before we actually see Tranquility come into play in this match. And jumping on top, we got Sarah Night Life, Salvar, and Jesu. It looks like Infanta is going to push in Yip, and and the Infanta going back. Junkyard's now actually pushing in, being a lot more aggressive. we got 0 seconds, and Tranquility is now popping. We got a fight already happening down here between 0-1 and Saturday Night Live. We have 3 members of Lager Tag down here, and so Saturday Night Live should get melted right now if they time all their abilities correctly. And Saturday Night is opting to jump back into the water. If he gets feared right now, it's all over for him. I definitely would like to see. And there we go. Saturday Night is now back down. Junkyards is in his death shroud, and there is Jesu now, and Jesu is also going to be receiving some help here from Keys. So we got Jesu, who is dangerously low, doesn't have his heal up, and Keys, who is pretty much not in any real dangers still. Jumping back over to Jesu, unfortunately, they're not really focus firing very well from my point of view. Keys looks like to be their new target, even though Jesu is probably the softer target for them to just chew through. He does have Save Yourselves up, and jumping over to Junkyards, he does have Epidemic still available. He decided to opt out of staying in there and is now heading over to the far point, trying to win a fight against Vec. As the fight down below is not really progressing right now, and they're going to be losing this game, Lager Tag, as they devoted 3 people down there. And they finally did get Keys down, but Jesu just rezzed him back up. Jumping back over to Junkyards, Junkyards is getting some help from Infanta and Yip against Vec. We currently have Temple open, and Lager Tag is not opting to grab it. So Lager Tag is probably a little confused on head counts on who is where and what's going on. We're saying that they're actually rotating off Binder over to Temple. Junkyard's now down, is probably not going to receive any help, unfortunately, and is going to be stomped out. Binders just keep closing that gap till 500 points, and they're pretty much safe, as there's not a whole lot they have to fear with this point differential of 220 points. Serenite getting on the gate before he can actually neutralize it, Yip, and so unfortunately I have a damn tree in front of me, so jumping down to Infanta. Infanta is stomping out with Serenite along with Yip. They're going to really need to get a triple cap here, as this fight is still going on down in Tranquility. It's kind of been an all-in. Unfortunately, they kind of have the wrong people for the job. They have 0-1 and Fugazi. They're both their bunkers, and that's hasn't been advantageous, as this is a never-ending fight. Jumping over to the Temple, we got Junkyards versus Jesu. Jumping over Jesu's view. He's not in too much danger. He got his other renewal, if he can get that off. And he just switches over into his water form, and he's out healing the DPS from Junkyards. He's now going for that Churning Earth, and like I said, Binder was in a very, very strong position. Unfortunately, this is like another time where Lager Tag was keeping themselves in the game, and unfortunately for them, devoting all those resources down once again in Tranquility basically netted them nothing, but to their benefit, it also didn't net Binder or anything. However, they weren't winning their fights elsewhere. They probably would have been better off essentially having the Infanta, Junkyards, and or Yip just combining and going to points together, as Junkyards was trying to solo, and unfortunately he didn't seem to be winning those solo fights on his own. Along with the fact that they often were losing the actual team fights, Lager Tag, but because of the fact that they were playing smart, even after they lost those points, they were able to neutralize one of Binder's points, which kept them in the game for such a long time. However, as you saw, there was a certain point where Binder basically capitalized on Lager Tag netting themselves once again the majority of points and capture points, and even getting a triple cap for a short while there. And basically when that happens, that kind of ends it, if you will. I'm going to just check if the teams are going to actually play another match tonight. This is kind of a last minute thing for me, so don't know if they wanted to have another match or not, since they're all still in here. Okay, so we'll actually get to see a third match between these two teams. So I'm not sure if we'll see another Farpoint graph from Binder, but basically Lagertag doesn't really have a response any other than getting to a point and trying to rotate quickly enough. So if anyone's actually in the stream and watching, now that you've seen these matches, let's throw up a straw poll. There we go. Basically, who do you think will take this third match? Unfortunately, the match started while I was tabbed out there. So we got a Lagertag with the early 2 caps. We will see, though, Binder actually getting this gate for free with absolutely no one taking it. So jumping back over to the outside of Temple, we got Jesu, who's pretty low, Yip, who's pretty low. And jumping over to Keys, he's backing out of this right now as well, as Lagertag and basically anticipated this. However, Yip is really, really low, and he needs to get out of there. Unfortunately, he eats that supply crate to the face, and that completely took him down. However, a nice job from Lagertag. They were able to res him up, and I feel like this is going to be, once again, Lagertag's going to be devoting a lot of resources to this point, and Binder is just going to be essentially getting all these points for free, as Lagertag has nothing capped at this stage. We got Junkyards out of this fight, Yip currently out of this fight, and we got Salfire, who is currently being rezzed up. Jesu, who is down, he's getting stomped out, and that'll bring Yip and Junkyards back into this fight. Unfortunately for Binder, they failed to take advantage of people being down and opted to res instead. And so we got Jesu down, Vec who's now down on his back, and he's about to be, he's actually going to get rezzed up here, it looks like. Actually, no, Lagertag managed to chew through him and take him down. And Lagertag is going to be winning this point. We got Infanta who managed to grab the far point. He's now heading towards, looks like mid. However, he's going to be facing a 2 versus 1, so he's opting to get out of there. So Lagertag has essentially won a key battle that they haven't been able to in the previous 2 matches, which is those team fights. We are now going to see Fugazi and it looks like Infanta roll into mid. Fugazi opting to go first on top instead. It looks like everyone's congregating around Stillness. Jumping over to Infanta. Infanta's moving in to help Junkyards against Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live, as we've seen, is pretty strong against Junkyards. However, Infanta is now down on his back, and Vec should be the Infanta teleporting out of there to not eat all that damage. However, no one's going to be Fugazi now going for that res. I don't think Infanta will get up in time. A nice knockback there, and Infanta is now stomped out. And Junkyard is currently in his plague form. However, that's not going to keep him up for long enough. Fugazi trying to get Junkyards up. I think he will actually get up here. No, Fugazi now down on her back as well, and it looks like Lagertag has lost this far point fight. Tromping down into the gate, we got 0-1 who actually got the gate, and Lagertag is taking early game lead. We haven't seen that in any of these matches yet, so Lagertag is, however, going to be losing their home point. We got Yip who is about to get on it, keep it contested. Jumping over to Yip's point of view. Yip is pretty low. He does have his heal up that he can use. He manages to get it off before that updraft, however. Unfortunately, he misses his Blurred Frenzy. Junkyards, though, is moving in, helping him out. But we got Keys now moving in, and Vec moving into this point. Yip is about to drop any second now. He's going to need a res from Fugazi, basically ASAP. It looks like he's actually going to get stomped out first, and Yip is out of this fight. We now got ourselves 2 versus 3. In reality, Yip should, Junkyards or Fugazi should probably leave this point altogether to head over to Far, as right now they only have 1 Far, and their Serenite is actually going to be trying to move into Gate potentially. And we still have Junkyards is now out of this fight, and we have the Infanta now moving into here, and Fugazi still in here. So they have 4 members of Binder on the temple right now. They really need to capitalize this Lagertag. As you can see, there's only 1 person on altar. If they're going to devote these resources to temple after people drop, they're going to be losing this match. On top, we have multiple members of Binder pushing over to their altar, and 0-1 is kind of left with his pants down, if you will, as he's just has a train of Binder after him. Opting to now jump down instead of dying, he's now down underneath. And it looks like we're going to be seeing Lagertag push up onto the altar once again. And Saturday Night Life is now going to be 2 versus 1 for a little while there. And we also have over at the temple, we got a 2 versus 1 between Keys, Jesu, and Fugazi. However, because it's a double bunker fight, it's going to essentially end up being a stalemate. So Fugazi is going to be a waste, and Keys is just going to keep this point neutralized. So Fugazi is actually going to back off this point, realizing that she's not going to be doing too much good there. So jumping over to the altar fight, we currently have a Serenite actually stomped out, and it's still a 2 versus 2 now with Junkyards, Jesu, and Vec, along with Yip. And Junkyards is now jumping into his plague form, but he's dangerously low. Unfortunately, he won't be able to heal like that. And Junkyards is now out of it. Yip is trying to res up. Unfortunately, it's a second too late, that res attempt, and Yip is now going to have to bail on this point. Fortunately, he doesn't have a portal up to get back anywhere. And the gate is still completely open and uncontested by anyone.
to capture point.
Vec just got made sure to cap that point, and we got Salfire, who is actually down now. Salfire is using his misform to opt for trying to self-res down here, and we already have people fighting down here, Infanta and Keys for Tranquility. Keys still does have his other shouts up, is holding out pretty well against the Infanta. Infanta it does have his Basilisk Venom coming out pretty soon. He's going to need to use it at the perfect time. However, he's dangerously low now. He's going to head out into the water, use his Shadow Refuge. And 0-1 is down there with him. Unfortunately, this is kind of like replicating the other matches, as you see, where Alter and Gate are now in control of Binder, and Lagertag keeps not managing to seal the deal, if you will, on the Tranquility, and so they just get outscored so drastically they can't turn the game around. Right now, Temple is actually being taken by a Binder, and Lagertag is taking the Gate. So we still have this fight raging on down here. If Yip can go and get Alter and or get Temple, they'd actually be in a much better place. Jumping over to Fugazi. Fugazi is still fighting up here near Stillness, keeping two members of Binder kind of unable to support Tranquility. Yip now trying to get Fugazi back up. Yip is probably going to eat a lot of damage trying to do this. Yip opting instead to try and actually win that Tranquility fight. We now have Salfire, who is now down, and it looks like we're actually going to see Lagertag get this Tranquility. However, they have so many people down here and devoted so many resources that this game is basically over, that they're going to have to maintain this triple cap. But we already got Alter being neutralized, Temple being neutralized, and Gate being neutralized. Despite the fact that they lost this fight for Tranquility, Binder responded by just simply getting prepared to retake every single point. We are seeing Vec getting burnt down right now. He doesn't have any heal up, and he's running out of there. So we should see Lagertag actually take this fight in mid pretty quickly. Keys is almost dead. He doesn't have any heal other than Save Yourselves to use.
Stillness has appeared.
Stillness is now getting picked up by Binder, and that'll give him the virtual, now it'll be a virtual extra cap here. And jumping over to the Temple, we got Yip, Fugazi, Serenite, Junkyard, Vec, and Salfer. We got Yip down already in this fight. I don't think they're going to manage to get him back up. Fugazi is eating a ton of damage, too much to actually help get Yip back up. Junkyard is now trying to get Yip up. Unfortunately, all that time it took, they were able to get that stomp. Fugazi now down on her back is about to get stomped out by Keys. And the Infanta is now about to get stomped out as well. And that's going to be the game. Binder doing a nice job every single match on picking up the points while they've been fighting in Tranquility, or basically whenever they've gotten everyone or the majority of Lagertag fighting on a single point, they take advantage of it very well and backcap. We did see Yip the previous game do the same during that. However, like I said, once they kind of funnel in Lagertag, Binder exploits it and uses their bunker on Alter, or their home point bunker, to actually pick up Gate. And then because of the fact that they're not losing Temple and or keeping it neutralized for so long, Lagertag just can't overcome that point differential. So I believe that is it for this evening. Thanks for joining me, everyone. If you enjoyed my shoutcast, feel free to follow me. beggars can't be choosers, so I'll beg for my followers. If you thought I did a good job, I definitely appreciate any positive feedback. If you thought I did a bad job, I definitely appreciate feedback still. And no one is perfect, so any good feedback is going to be taken to heart. Any bad feedback might be taken to heart too, depending on how it's phrased. And if you'd like me to shoutcast any of your scrims, if you're a team that needs someone to shoutcast, generally Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I can be asked to shoutcast. Normally Sunday through Wednesday, I do play with my team, but if it's late enough or early enough, I could always make time for it, as my team's practices come first. Thanks again for joining me this evening. I'm obviously Akkuma, since you're watching this stream, but in case you somehow didn't know who I was, I am the person that has that same name, and I am the same name in-game as well, in case you ever want to shoot me a message. Thanks again, and have a good night, guys.